Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Message from the Truck. In case you haven't been able to catch on already, I'm not in the truck today, and I'm going to explain why in just a couple of seconds. But first, just a couple announcements and a couple introductions and things like that. My name is the Rev'd Paul. I'm the rector of St. Augustine of Canterbury Anglican Church here in the city of Windsor, and it's great to see all of my St. Augustine family as well as other visitors and guests and folks that just happened along this video. It's great to see you this afternoon, as I share in this particular message. Just a couple of quick announcements before we get into the message. First of all, that tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow is our regular Facebook Live worship event on Sunday mornings from the Church of St. James, which is where our studio is located. And I'll be joined by Reverend Robert, Reverend Lise, and Reverend Charlotte as we continue down this COVID journey, continuing to share ministry together. Tomorrow is the National Day of Prayer for the Indigenous peoples, and we're going to recognize that with certain prayers and certain readings. I'm going to talk about that in just a couple of moments. A couple of other things that need to be announced. First of all, this coming Tuesday, the 23rd of June, we'll be having our mental health check-in on Facebook Live. If you're interested in taking part or being part of that, we start up at 7 o'clock on Tuesday evening. We've got a couple of social workers and a couple of priests who are going to offer some thoughts and ideas and suggestions on how we all can deal with the mental health stress of what COVID-19 and this pandemic and our lockdown has created. So that's Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 23rd of June, starting at 7 o'clock on St. Augustine of Canterbury's Facebook Live page. So look for that. Sorry for this wiggling back and forth thing. I've got the camera precariously perched, and every time a breeze comes by, it moves the camera. So I apologize if you're feeling seasick or nauseous. I understand gravel's good for that, but I doubt it'll be required. I don't plan on talking for that long. A couple of other announcements. First of all, we are scheduled to do a food drive on Sunday the 5th of July. However, the City of Windsor has engaged all of the people, and actually I believe it goes out into the county as well. People are being encouraged to take part in the Miracle on the 27th, which is this coming Saturday, a week from today. And that Miracle on the 27th is organized by the Goodfellows, and it's going to be a citywide food drive where folks are able to get on board and leave donations of food on their front steps. And those donations of food will be collected by the Goodfellows and taken to the Unemployed Help Center for distribution. So because that food drive is taking part on the 27th, we decided rather than going the very next week, which was July 5th, we thought we would jump it a week. So we're going to jump to the 12th of July. So the food drive that's normally on the first Sunday of the month is going to be on the second Sunday of the month in July. And I can give you a heads up right now that it's also going to be on the second Sunday of the month in August, because the first Sunday is the civic long weekend, and it's also going to be the second Sunday of the month in September, as the first Sunday of the month is Labor Day weekend. So because of those long weekends, we're going to bump everything for the next 3 months to the second Sunday of the month. All right, so that's my second announcement in regards to outreach stuff. But please take advantage of that opportunity to be part of the Miracle on the 27th. Look it up online, look it up on Facebook. It's all over the place. It's in all of our local news media. So please take part in the Miracle on the 27th as we have this massive food drive for the City of Windsor. So looking forward to taking part in that. The other piece that I wanted to get to, and I mentioned it already, is that tomorrow is the National Indigenous Day of Prayer. And we'll be acknowledging that day of prayer through our scripture readings as well as through some of the prayers that we'll be sharing as part of our worship service tomorrow. But I wanted to talk a little bit really briefly, and what I wanted to talk about was that connection that the Anglican Church in particular has to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the Truth and Reconciliation suggestions and so on that came out of that TRC for rebuilding relationships and for strengthening relationships between the Church and the Indigenous peoples of Canada. So this afternoon, or this evening, I'm coming to you from not the truck, but in fact, I'm coming to you from the tractor. See, I'm sitting here in the backyard at the rectory, and we've been doing some work on the property and making sure that things are getting caught up and all of that kind of thing. And one of the things that we've been doing is some landscaping. So we decided to rent a little tractor, and that would make the project go a little bit easier. Now, as you can see, I'm going to sort of pan out here. As you can see, we've leveled off a great deal of the ground, and it certainly is a lot smoother and a lot cleaner than it used to be. But over there in the corner, I'm going to see if we can get all the way over to the corner. Over there, you'll see some piles of stuff. Well, can't quite reach. Over there, you'll see some piles of dirt and scrub and rock and brick and all of that kind of thing. You see, the tractor has been great. It certainly has taken a load off as far as Aaron and I are concerned. We haven't had to shovel everything. We haven't had to rake everything. We've been able to break it all up with the bucket on the loader tractor, as well as the rototiller attachment that's on behind us. But not all of the work can be done by the big equipment. You still have to get down and dirty and get your feet dirty and get your hands dirty and get dusty as you rake up those pieces that have come to the surface, and as you dig in those little spots that got a little bit hollow or a little bit empty as we were making all of the connections with the big tractor. Because you see, it can't all be done by the big stuff. Sometimes the work has to be done by the individual with just a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of sweat on the brow, a little bit of getting the work done yourself. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission had all kinds of fantastic ideas as to ways that we can connect and reconnect and re-solidify those relationships with the Indigenous peoples in Canada. And one of the things that we've had a tendency of doing is saying, well, can't the big guy do it, right? Can't the church do it? Can't the government do it? Can't the large organization that needs to make those apologies, needs to make those reconciliations, isn't it the big guy's job to get that kind of stuff done? And sure, it is. Just like this project that we've been working on, it's the tractor's job to get a lot of that work done. But it's also an individual effort. I couldn't just walk away from this and assume that the tractor had done everything. It had to be worked on by hand. It had to be cared for and nurtured, and pretty soon I'm going to put seed down, and that's going to have to be cared for and watered and all of that kind of thing. So as much as the tractor, the big guy, has made my job a lot easier, it's also still a requirement that I do some personal work to make the job complete. I think that's one of those ways we can look at the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, is that, yeah, they made some great suggestions that the big guys, like I said, the churches and the government and the other organizations had some great ideas and ways that they could reconcile with some of the peoples. But it also told us that we needed to do some work. Building relationships, listening to stories, listening to concerns. In the midst of all of the things that have gone on these past couple of weeks, I think it's been told to us and shown to us very clearly that that individual work, that individual doing something, can make an incredible difference, because it's not just the big guy that can get it all done. So, just like Aaron and I still have some work to do tomorrow when we get done church, and we still have some work to do to clean all this up, and we'll still have some work to do before we get rid of the tractor, I think we all still have some work to do in rebuilding our relationships with our Indigenous neighbors, with our Indigenous brothers and sisters in the church, with those who have been hurt, not even necessarily by us, but what has gone before us and what hasn't yet been fixed. So, that's a project for the week. This project has taken me a lot longer than I thought it would. The project you're going to take on might take a lot longer than you think it should too. But it'll be worth it in the end. It'll make all the difference in the end. So, put your head on and get some work done. I wish you the best of luck as you make that journey. But for right now, see you in church tomorrow. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Blessings to all of you from the tractor this week as we continue down our journey. This is Rev'd Paul. Bye for now.